Oh, I love it when some new information comes to light. It really does paint the picture of what we're dealing with. This is today's Arsenal News Show. Hello and welcome to the Gooner Talk, back again with you guys and girls for another episode of what is the Arsenal News Show. Joining you every single morning at 8 a.m. UK time. Thank you so much as always for joining me and making this a part of your morning routines. Hope you're doing good. Hope you're doing well. Hope you've had a really good weekend and you've enjoyed yourselves. And your start to week yesterday on Monday was indeed also a strong one. Good morning to those joining us live in the chat box. Thank you so much as always for doing so. Really appreciate you being here. Good morning to Black Shine and Steve and Steve Stone as well. Olawale, Claire, we got Manny and Spearmint and Roy and Barry and Shari and Scouse Gooner. I wonder, Barry Hemmings, are you from the Midlands? Because every time I say the stereotypical Midlands bloke who gets annoyed at my long introductions, I wonder if that affects you in any way. Let us know, Barry. We all want to know. Sid, good morning to you, to Kirill, to Black Shine, to Knowledge, to Brian. We've got Senesi in the chat box this morning. Angela, Glenn, Grantley, Booze, Martin, and plenty more of you guys and girls in the chat box as well. As always, thank you so much for doing so and for joining us as well. Simon says, Tom, you sound better today. I'm sounding a bit better. It's still not 100%. And I've got some squash next to me, so hopefully if I do start to struggle, which could happen, then I'll be all right. But yeah, it's just so frustrating when you have to talk for a living, which I can do very comfortably these days. Oh no, I also feel like I'm zoomed. Am I zoomed in? I feel like I'm not. No, well, I'm way too zoomed in. I feel like I'm really far. For some reason, I don't know why. I feel like I'm really far close to the camera. I don't know why, but that is as far as out as it goes. But yes, I'm feeling a bit better than usual. So thank you for your kind words in yesterday's show, and thank you to all of you that left comments on the vlog from yesterday. I can tell you that we had more than 500 comments on yesterday's match day vlog. So thank you to all of you that did leave a comment. And in part 2, we will be drawing the winner of that. Now, I said yesterday that I was going to do the draw by giving you all a number. I recognized very quickly that was a stupid idea. And there are much simpler ways of, and when I say I realized that, I mean my wife made me realize that it is a stupid decision to do it that way. So there are actually services online which, if you put the URL of a Instagram post into it, you can have it randomly select a comment to win a prize. Hence why you get so many Instagram competitions, I guess, and the easy way in which they pick a winner. So I'm going to do that. We'll do that on the screen so you know I'm not messing you about and that it is going to be very much fair. And also you can select it so that it only picks a person that's left one comment. So if you've left multiple comments trying to get yourself more entries, that's not going to work. So there was also that to take into consideration as well. I've thought ahead. You know, you think you're smarter than me. Just know that you're not. Right, let's crack on with today's story, shall we? Let's drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the challenge. Subscribe to the channel if you could be ever so kind. Oh, I've not actually attached the... Just talked about how smart I am, and then I haven't even selected the slideshow yet for today's show. There we go. It's back. It's ready. So yes, do drop a like, subscribe to the channel if indeed you think that you should. Right, let's jump into today's story, shall we? Mikel Arteta faces the press today ahead of this Wednesday's fixture in the Champions League against Olympiacos, where Arsenal, of course, will be facing something of an old rival in European competitions. We've got plenty of history with Olympiacos, including positive and negative stories. Mikel Arteta, the last time he played Olympiacos, of course, was eliminated by them in the round of 32, I think, maybe the round of 16, in the Europa League. So revenge time for Arteta. But an interesting story from the Telegraph to talk to you about is that we know that Mikel enjoys the odd unorthodox method of coaching his players. Well, according to the Telegraph, Arteta plans to bring in RAF pilots to improve communication between the players. Now, you'll remember the game in Bilbao most recently where the players were subjected to, in my opinion, and I was as well because I was there, one of the loudest environments, stadia that I've ever witnessed. And Jurriën Timber was speaking specifically about how he had simply not been able to communicate with any of his teammates at all. And Newcastle, of course, can be similar to that as well. And the idea of this is that the RAF pilots, of course, who often communicate through hand signals if their telecommunications fail them through the glass, I imagine, use certain communication methods. I'm purely guessing at this point. I have no idea. I know I talk like I knew what I was going on about, but I do absolutely have no idea why they're doing it. It's just my only assumption. Could it be that it's an improvement maybe with kind of a hand signal language or something that enables the players to communicate in times where they cannot hear one another because of the loudness of a stadium? Arteta faces the media today. I wonder if he will be asked about this in the presser. I do find it quite funny, though, when you get people getting irritated by this stuff. It's like when we saw the light bulb thing. Like, that analogy of the light bulb thing really worked. Like, you have to complete a circuit and the light bulb turns on. So if everybody is singing from the same hymn sheet, everyone is connecting the team, the light bulb comes on. I find it odd when people get annoyed or overly critical of these things. I think it just paints a picture of the person rather than the actual methodology of what they're criticizing. I don't really see a problem at all with this. It's a fun idea. Obviously, you want to keep things fresh, keep things new, try and be innovative. Yeah, it always makes me laugh how quickly people are like, this is a stupid idea. What an idiot. What's he doing? Because it's just a different idea of trying to teach people about communication in more of an engaging way. So who am I to say that he's not wrong to try and do that? I mean, Mark says, why not sign language? Well, sign language is an incredibly complicated language, which has obviously signals for all the different words, whereas I imagine they want probably a more simplistic approach instead with more kind of basic signal commands rather than complicating it with an entire language. So that's probably the reason as to why, Mark, which is probably a fairly simple explanation. William Saliba, it's my understanding, I broke the story yesterday, that he has now put pen to paper on his new deal. David Ornstein, of course, broke the exclusive news that he had agreed to sign a new deal. Well, it is my understanding that Saliba has indeed signed that contract, and now that all is needed is the announcement of it. I understand that he is very happy to sign this new deal and committing his future to the club for a 5-year deal. Very, very exciting indeed to see William Saliba. So if you see any stories out there about the deal being signed, just remember Eric. But when it comes to this deal, it obviously is very, very, very positive news for Arsenal. 5 years takes him, of course, from 24, which he is now, through till his 29th birthday and beyond. The best years of William Saliba's career, unless, of course, Arsenal sell him, will be with Arsenal. Brilliant moment, great achievement, and massive credit to all those involved, of course, Berta, Arteta, the club, the player, and, of course, everybody that's helped make this happen. Huge news. But the thing I want to talk to you about, probably more than anything else, is this. NBC's commentary of Arsenal's match against Newcastle. Now, some of you listening will have already heard the commentary. Now, I can't play you the commentary. I can direct you, though, to a tweet where I have... I've quote tweeted a video that has been put up of the commentary, so that if you want to go and listen, I'll leave a link to that as well in today's video description. You might need to refresh the page so that you can get it, because I've just put it in now. But if you want to go and listen to the commentary of what NBC heard, it is very, very interesting indeed. Effectively, just to give you a bit of a description, when you commentate on a game, you can hear the VAR, or some broadcasters can hear the discussions that are going on behind the scenes during the game. So Gary Neville and Peter Drury on Sky can hear it, and the NBC commentators can also hear it. And during the NBC commentary, you could hear the commentary team say that the VAR, when Jared Gillett was over at the screen, were really trying to explain. They were really explaining the situation that they believed that they had seen. and that they felt that he should therefore be able to see. Other words were being used like they were really guiding Jarrett Gillett towards this decision. Now, in my humble opinion, and it is just my honest opinion, that is re-refereeing the games. For me, it is as simple as that. It is a re-refereeing of a decision. If the referee has to be convinced by the VAR officials that he has made a mistake that seems incredibly subjective, and to the point where words like really explaining, guiding the referee to a decision, that, in my opinion, means the referee has not made a clear and obvious error in this moment. Now, I don't think it's a penalty anyway. I think that the explanation that was given by Dale Johnson of ESPN, who I vehemently disagree with his analysis of the incident. Yesterday, I wrote my own, of course, refereeing review because, if you can't beat them, join them. So I say. So I now do usually my weekly referee reviews where I just look at it from the perspective of someone I don't have. In my opinion, I'm not coming at it from the point of view of going, these are the rules, etc., and so on. I'm looking at it from the perspective of a journalist, of course, someone who loves football, and someone who does have an understanding of the rules, of course, but also that's just going, this shouldn't be turned over by VAR. This should not have been overturned. Things like the Van Dijk stamp on Havertz in the Liverpool game last season or the season before, these types of things. This incident is just so glaringly revealing, I think, of what is going on behind the scenes, and a fragrant kind of it's flagrant, isn't it? Flagrant, not fragrant. A flagrant disassociation from the guidance that they have as VAR officials. We've heard it before. We've seen it before, that officials have gone away from what the expectations are. We saw it in the Chelsea-Fulham game, and we have seen it in other games, and we've seen it in plenty of Arsenal fixtures. They've missed offside calls. They've missed balls being clearly shown to have gone over the line, in my opinion. They've missed clear fouls on players at St James's Park in previous games. It is just so frustrating that we love this sport so much, and it is so consistently ruined by poor officiating, by just utterly horrendous refereeing and VAR officiating. I would give credit to Jarrett Gillett for giving it on the field, but the problem is with this is that he has then been swayed by VAR officials, I quote, really explaining to the referee why there is no foul here. We went into this in detail in yesterday's show about why it's not a foul, but the explanation that we were given, in my opinion, by Dale Johnson of ESPN was insufficient, and I don't think it fairly represented the incident that we saw. Speaking about the idea that the Saliba Brighton goal was one where Saliba's momentum carried him into Joao Pedro, as if Pope's isn't still moving his leg into Gyökeres when they collide, and also that Joao Pedro isn't also moving towards Saliba to the point that they collide. The collision comes from both players moving towards the same point. Joao Pedro gets the ball first, but hits the ball onto Saliba's head, who gets a significant deflection on the ball, whereas in this situation, Gyökeres knocks the ball onto Pope's foot, which is, as I say, the leg is still extending. It's not stopped dead. It's still moving, but if there is any, I still am yet to see a significant replay that shows beyond all doubt that there is a touch, that touch has little to no bearing at all on where that ball is traveling. Whereas Saliba's touch on the headed pass or the headed movement or dribbling moment or whatever from Joao Pedro has got a significant change of direction on the ball. And to use those two examples, which was later added, I found as well, another point that really frustrated me is that I replied to that, and instead of a response, which I didn't get, it was then added. The Saliba example was added to that piece. And it is frustrating, It is frustrating seeing these situations, and seeing it so clearly, and then not having the engaged kind of conversational discussion around it. It seems very dismissive, and that doesn't roll well with me. But I think that this is one where we have to see the audio released. The official audio needs to come out from this incident. We are entitled to seeing this audio come out, in my opinion, because of what we've heard from the commentary and the commentators explaining what they're hearing. We need to hear it. We need to understand how they've got to this decision. And of course, we know that Howard Webb and Michael Owen tend to go through it on that specific show. So we need to hear the audio of how this decision came to be, because the only way in which it improves is if we are scrutinizing these choices more stringently. And they deserve to be scrutinized, which is why I talk about it in the way that I talk about it here. It is all just my honest opinion, but in my opinion, it does need to be heavily scrutinized. And it's frustrating that we find ourselves in this issue in this moment. So, yeah, it's something I think needs more clarity about, and it's frustrating. So just getting some of your reaction as well in the chat box. Mark says, what is the rule? Must the referee choose to go to the monitor? Are the VAR officials permitted to persuade him or insist that he takes another look? Can he decline? When the VAR asks him to go to the screen, I think he's inclined to go to the screen. But the difference is when you get to the screen is you don't have to change your decision. It is up to the referee's discretion and to what he sees, whether or not he changes his mind on the call. He can stick with his choice. The problem that we've got is there is so many examples these days of referees going to the screen and then not changing, and then always changing their mind, so that when they go to the referee's screen, it's almost as if we know what's going to happen. And what was interesting was there was a moment in the game where, obviously now the referees announced to the crowd what the decision is. He does the symbol, the VAR screen thing. And when he does the VAR screen thing, Newcastle fans already start cheering. I don't know if you noticed this on the television, if it came through. But as soon as he made that, before he'd even told the crowd what indeed the decision it was, the fans were already celebrating because we knew what was going to happen. So that is, again, that's not a good thing, to be in the position that we always see them changing their minds after they've gone to the screen, because there should be more examples of where they don't. They shouldn't be only sent to the screen in moments where the VAR feels, of course, that they're so passionate about it that there's something wrong. And there did seem to be, from what was going on behind the scenes of what we could hear from the NBC commentary, that they were really adamant that Gillett had got this wrong, even though he himself was clearly having some doubts by the way in which we were hearing from the commentary that he had to be really explained to him what had gone on. That's re-refereeing a game, in my opinion, especially a decision that I think was given on the pitch immediately, correctly. And there's meant to be this high threshold for when VAR gets involved on those on-field decisions. There wasn't a high threshold respected in this instance, in my view. Claire says it's a guarantee that will happen when they go to the monitor because they have no bollocks to stand by their decision. Aoife says it's simply poor from the officials. They can't be so unreliable when everyone else has to perform better and to the best of their ability. Kurt says nothing will change with Howard Webb and such obvious cheating. I mean, I don't think cheats are what is the right terminology to use here, because it's, again, to start using words like cheating and other words beginning with C, you have to have some significant evidence. And I don't agree with that labeling at this point in time, because until we get something significant that shows that, all we have is evidence of poor officiating. That's all the evidence that there is out there at the moment. The evidence is that they are consistently not making the correct decisions in the game, nor are they making them with the benefit of the video either. Consistently not making the correct decisions. The volume of games where there are a mistake, at least just one mistake, are too high by referees, or particularly with the benefit of referees using video. There is a too high a volume of games where video assistant referees are getting things wrong, and there is subsequently, the only reason that we have shows like Ref Watch, oh goodness me, it's starting. The only reason that we have shows like Ref Watch, the only reason that we have articles like mine, like Dale's, is because there is such inconsistency in officiating and so many errors in the game. That is the only reason why these platforms, these articles, these videos, these programs exist. It is as simple as that. And if there was a high level of refereeing in the Premier League, there wouldn't be these shows, there wouldn't be these discussions, there wouldn't be these articles, and it wouldn't even be a conversation. The football would take precedence. The football would be what we talk about. The football is what would take charge. But so often it doesn't. And so often we find ourselves after so many games talking about mistakes being made by the officials. And it's not good enough. And it needs to improve. And there needs to be some form of accountability. There needs to be some form of incentive to improve the officiating in the Premier League, because it is not good enough, in my opinion. It just isn't. It's just not good enough. But that's just me. And I'm sure that there's lots of you in the chat box, of course, that are equally, or maybe not, frustrated with obviously the situation. And the reason why I have such emotions about this is because we invest a lot of time and fans invest a lot of money following this sport, loving this sport, being passionate about this sport. And we believe with the money that's invested in this game and what people are paid and the technology that they access, they should be, without a doubt, not making as many mistakes as they do, in my opinion. And that's what makes it so, so annoying. Sometimes I wish I had kind of a more successful, a more accurate assessment of who and what might be trying to, I don't know, steal my data while I'm abroad, while I'm using a public Wi-Fi service. I wish I had the most successful filter in the world that would stop me from making mistakes. No one's perfect, but sometimes you do forget that jumping onto a public Wi-Fi service can be dangerous. It can cost you significantly because you're not the only one using that, nor are there the same protections on that service that there might be on your Wi-Fi system at home. Not only that, but I might want to listen to the commentary from a certain broadcaster when I'm abroad of the highlights of a game. And I can't do that because they're often geolocation locked. Well, I can change my geolocation digitally with a very special tool, a tool that you know very well. And that tool is NordVPN. And make sure if you're not going already with Nord, that you get yourself signed up soon by going to nordvpn.com/Gooner to get yourself a significant discount off a 1 or a 2 year plan. As I say, you can change your digital location immediately. And not only that, but you give yourself that protection while using those public Wi-Fi services. You can get a 1 or a 2 year plan and 4 months extra thrown in free on top of that 2 year deal. And if you're not happy with the service for whatever reason, you get a 30-day money back guarantee. Make sure you check out the terms and conditions on the NordVPN website. All right, let's go to part 2, your questions and more right after this. Okay, this is part 2 of today's show where we're going to be tackling your questions and more, and also choosing a winner for the shirts. The large men's Arsenal third kit for this season that came into my possession, I'm giving away. And the winner of this competition will be somebody who left a comment on my most recent Instagram match day vlog, which of course you can see on the screen. You can find my Instagram at Tom Canton Media, all one word. So I'm just going to do a new refresh. So any recent comments that came in during part 1 are going to be taken into account, but it closes now. It has closed. So anybody entering now, I don't believe that you can be successful from this point. So taking the URL, we can put it into our Instagram comments picker tool. Let's share the screen with you while it is indeed scanning. Here we go. So let me just share this screen. Where is it? Here it is. So we had 604 of you leave a comment on that Instagram page. So thank you to all of you that did indeed leave your comments on the competition, and thank you for the kind words. And I hope you're appreciating the match day vlogs. It's still a relatively new Instagram account, so I recognize that. Well, I think we're closing in on 2,000 followers, though. That's pretty cool. But let's see. So yes, you can only have one mention and the number of winners is going to be 1. So let's see who it's going to be. Who is going to win the large men's Arsenal third kits? Well, congratulations to... What the hell? No. What do you mean I've got to register? What on earth? I can't even see who won. That's not fair. What do you mean I've got to register to see who won? That's like the biggest anticlimax ever. Oh, my goodness gracious me. I'm going to have to do a different one. I'm going to have to find a different tool. Okay, let's see if this one works. What on earth? I've practiced this, right? I tried this the other day, and it worked. I can't tell you who won that game, because obviously that wouldn't be very fair. Let's see if that's ridiculous. Why on earth did that not work? I've practiced it. Apparently, I can't do any more than that. Well, don't use that website, because clearly it doesn't work. Right, we're going to use a different website now. Let's see if indeed this one works instead. I was so ready. From the comments. Yes, we want it from the comments. Add new post. No, the rules. We have to select our rules. Number of winners 1. Number of substitutes 0. Minimum tags 0. Avoid duplicate tags. Yes. Next. I kind of want to show you the screen, so you realize I'm not messing with you. There we go. So, right, this is a different website. We're doing Simpliers giveaway. Let's see this. Right, let's try this again. Let's see if this website works. And it is. Oh, for goodness sake. I just want to try free. What is going on? Why can't I just do this for free? I just want to pick a comment. That's all I want to do. Let me pick one comment, please. I'm going to have to do this just the old-fashioned way in a minute. Oh, my goodness. I'm not going to have to sign in and register on that website, am I? I'm going to have to sign up for that stupid website now. Right. I'm going to take some of your questions while I also try and sign up for this website, and we'll come back to that. Goodness me. People trying to take your money. Just want a random comment picked. That's all I want. Right, let's scroll up in the chat, and I can discuss one of your comments while I'm frantically now registering for a website just to pick a random blooming comment. Let's go to leave your comments with a capital Q, of course, and I'll try and get through as many of them as I feasibly can. Mark says, he's been very active in the chat today. To what degree do you think the head ref's lengthy hesitation in pointing to the spot on Gyökeres's challenge motivated the VAR officials to persuade him that he'd made a mistake? I don't think it would have affected anything, to be honest. Like, the referee has and is allowed time to make those decisions. They are allowed to have a think about that in that moment as well, what's gone on. So I don't think that that's the case. Right, I wonder if this lets me, like, not use an email address that I want to give it. Do you ever do that when you're using when you're using a public Wi-Fi service? Do you ever give them like a fake email address and it still works? I do all the time. Let's just use a random password. Create account. Right. Don't now show me who the winner is, because that's going to be really annoying. Okay, right, here we go. We're doing it again. Start giveaway. Find comments. Number of winners 1. Number of minimum mentions 1. No, I don't need mentions. No mentions. I don't need a mention. That's fine. Just the number of winners 1. Right, so let's share the screen with you one more time. And let's see, finally, if indeed, for the 4th millionth time, if this is going to work. Okay. Fine. Oh, for goodness. Do you ever just want to, like, punch a wall? Do you ever just want to, like, punch a wall? Right. I've got one more idea. Do you want to hear my last idea? My last idea is to use ChatGPT. This is my last idea that I've got. We will pick a winner today, I promise you. Right. I'm going to put the link into ChatGPT. I'm going to say, hello. Can you please, speaking to this like it's a natural person, can you please analyze this Instagram post and at random pick one of the comments, but only from accounts, I should say, that have left just one comment. I did warn people that you weren't allowed to do that. Let's see if it does it. Sorry, but I can't access or view this content behind Instagram's internal pages. This isn't going to happen. I've gone 10 minutes trying to pick a winner for this competition. This is just ridiculous. Oh my goodness. Right, let's see if this last one, we're going to try something else. We're going to try one more different website and see if it works. Here's the source. We want one comment. Confirm the post. Searching on the account. Let's see if it's a public account. It should really work. Please don't make me have to pay for this. Yes, connect with the Instagram. Why do I have to give you access to my Instagram page? I shouldn't have to do that. This is just so irritating. I did this perfectly fine yesterday. I mean, I could just give it to the person who won it when I did it yesterday. That might be what I end up doing. Why do I have to pay? I just want to pick one person. That's all I want. Please let me just pick. No login required. Oh, this one says no login required. No login required. Is this one going to work? I'll tell you what, we have scoured the internet for websites that will make this work. Right. Let's see if this one works. Let's see if this one finally gives us load comments. It says no login required, man. Why? Why do I have to keep paying for this? Right. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to do it in the most old-fashioned way feasibly possible. I'm going to load all the comments on my screen, okay? We're going to load every single comment that I can while I'm talking to you, scrolling down on this Instagram post that I have. And while I'm doing that and loading every single comment in the video, we're eventually going to start scrolling. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll without looking at it. And whichever comment my mouse lands on, you win. Because that's how we're doing it. So even if you put in 2 comments, you might win. But it's I'm not going to refresh it. So it's just going to be the people that most recently were in there. So you can't leave loads of comments now because they won't load. But that's what we're going to do. That's the only way to fix this because, my goodness me, I'm so sorry. This has been the most unsuccessful competition giveaway ever. Unless someone in the comment section, ask ChatGPT to pick a random number between 1 and 600. That's a good idea. We'll do that, and then I'll count. Please don't be a high number because that's going to take me forever. Okay, we've loaded every single comment. I'm going to start with number 1 is someone22. You were the first comment. So ChatGPT is now going to pick it. What was it? 604? I think it was 604. So pick a random number. I'll do it on a random number generator. Random number generator website. I'll probably have to pay for it, won't I? Minimum. Oh, you can do it on Google. Fantastic. Okay, right. Let me share this screen with you, and you can see who the random. It's going to be 603. You know what it's going to be? It's going to be like 603. Right, here we go. Random number generator. Let's zoom in so you can see it. 117. I'm happy to count to 117 to get an actual winner on this competition. Right, okay. I really wish I didn't have a cough while I was doing this as well. Oh, all I want to do is give an Arsenal shirt away. That's all I'm trying to do. Give an Arsenal shirt away. That's all I want. Right. You're all going to count with me to 117. Let's do it. So here we go. Someone is number 1, number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Everything that passes my mouse is another one. 11, Kareem, unlucky. Ben Chock, unlucky. You're 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 is a Stephen. 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, Jakey, 30, 31, 32, Logan, 33, 34. We got Max. I'm giving loads of people shout-outs now because it's the best way I can do this rather than me just counting. 35 is Tate. 36 is Zen. 37, Footy Kid. 38, what podcasting this is. Christopher is 39. Danny Richards, congratulations to you. You're 40, but you're not a winner. Hans, 41. Oldham Boas is 42. We've got RG, 43. Nikki, 44. Kay Tanny, 45. Nafis is 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56. 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67 is Cameron. 58, 59, 60, 60. Well, at least you get to see my vlog in the background. 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73 is Jack. 74, Keane, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79 is George, 80. Dave is 81. Other Dave is 82. Jack is 83. Gramsby is 84. Adrian, 85. Wilfred, 86. AJ, 87. 88. 89. 90. 91. 92. 93. 94. 95. 96. 97. 98. 99. Number 100 is Liasco. 101 is retro. 102, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 112 is Rasmus. 113 is Carl. 114 is Charles. 115 is Bill Roach. 116 is Russell. 117 is Roak GH. Richard Adje Abeng. You are our winner. Congratulations, sir. You have won a Arsenal large shirt. Please get in contact with me and I'll do my best to get in contact with you with it. Oh my goodness me. What did I? No, I didn't go from 67 to 57, 58, 60. No, I didn't. Shut up. Look, he's winning. Even if I've counted wrong, he's the winner. There is no way I'm doing it again. That is it. Even if I've counted wrong, it's my competition. I don't care. He wins. He is the winner of this. I don't care. He wins. Oh, you're all saying I did. How did I go from 58 to 50? It's unfair on him now. If it's unfair on him if I recount it. I got this shirt for nothing. Someone gave it to me. It's no skin off my back. It's corruption. I don't care anymore. I have wasted too much time. This person, Roak, I'll be in touch with you about winning it. They've made 0 posts on Instagram ever. Did they create this account just to enter the competition? I kind of hope so. Oh, don't look. Sue me. I don't care. It's a fun giveaway. You guys take this way too seriously. Since can we do this every single day? How are 1,200 of you still watching this? How? I just counted to 117 on stream. How do 1,200, more than 12? We're gaining viewers. How do we gain viewers while counting? Is that what I need to do now to just get subscribers? Do I just have to count? How many subscribers have we got? Do I just count to how many subscribers that we've got? It'll grow. Clearly, that's what people are into in 2025. 66,407. We're going to count that on tomorrow morning's show, and maybe maybe that's what needs to happen. Oh, dearie me. Dave says there is a better way of doing it. I know there's better ways of doing it, Dave. Trust me, Dave. I've exhausted every single potential option I've had. Counting badly, says Logan. Yeah, that's fair enough. Oh, Casper says, dude, my comment was the next one. Oh, that's such a shame. Unlucky. Anyone watch Taskmaster? I'm going to be as stringent about this as Greg Davis is. I'm going to be as ruthless with this. My winner is Roak. Roak wins. I'm sorry. The rest of you are lost. Deal with it. We tried everything. I wasn't willing to pay for a service to do this even more fairly. We're just gonna count wrongly and pick a. You can't tell me that wasn't random. That's for sure. It was 100% a random comment. There's no doubt in our mind about that. It couldn't have been more random if we tried. We even did random counting to get to that number. Literally had no way of making that more random if I tried. So I didn't have a clue what I was going to land on, but it just happened to be them, even if I didn't even count correctly. Oh, I think we need a breather. I think I need a drink. We'll go into part 3 now. And for the next 15 minutes, we'll take some of your genuine football questions right after this. I actually just needed to take a drink and a bit of a breather as well, so that helps. Right, let's bring it back to football, because somehow 1,200 people are happy to watch me count to 117 wrong, but that's fine. Byron says, lesson learned, don't ask Tom to count. He will randomly skip 10 numbers. I have 117 charges against you, Tom. It's a disgrace. This is very good. Dilawar says, if Tom organised the Squid Game, they would all die of old age. Oh, dearie me. Martin says, can you imagine just how bad some of the referees further down the pyramid must be? Hey, maybe they can count better than I can. Who am I to complain about refereeing if I can't even count to 117? Oh, dearie me. TG says, Tom, that ref didn't take this long on that penalty. Yeah. Did he take 117 seconds? I will say that there was 7 added minutes to the first half, which you could argue maybe there was 117 seconds to do it. Paul says, who starts versus West Ham and who won't be in the squad? Let's bring it back to football now. Let's put it all to one side, shall we? Yes. Who starts against West Ham and who won't be in the squad? Well, we've got another game before that, Paul. Clearly, Paul doesn't really appreciate the Champions League game we've got tomorrow night. Oh, and just for the record, I'm not at the press conference today. I've got a day off today. So Ryan Taylor is going to be there in my stead. And I'm sure he'll do a fantastic job for Football London The Mirror. So you can continue to get updates from the press conference, but I've got a day off today. So I will not be there. So don't ask me. I think about people I've had DM me reviews. Can you ask Arteta this? For the record, and I know I've said this before, I don't do requests. All right. I don't do requests. Stop DMing me, asking me to ask Mikel what his favorite color is. All right. It's not going to happen. I mean, I might one day ask him what his favorite color is, but it won't be because of Steve who DM'd me asking me to ask him that. All right. But in terms of the West Ham game, I think you probably bring Ødegaard back into the fold. I really want to see Ødegaard and Eze start in midfield together. Like drop one of Zubi or Rice and play Eze and Ødegaard together. And I think West Ham at home is potentially a good game to try that. I really want to see it. I really do want to see that happen. Abby says, can you please Arteta his hair routine? Yeah, one day, maybe. In more of a casual setting, maybe like an off-the-record conversation, I might drop that question in at one point. It might happen, but definitely not in a press conference. AFC DMB says, put both Eze and Ødegaard in the middle with either Rice or Zubi. It'll be a good opportunity to see how it flows. Yeah, it's something I want to see. I really want to see. And I preempted your comment, clearly. Abil says, hey, Tom, I'm all for the handbrake. Spell off, but to play devil's advocate, do you think I'm in no position to correct people on their spelling? I can't even count. Think of a midfield of Eberezer Eze at 10 and Martin Ødegaard at 8 with a DM of Rice or Zubi. Lacks balance the same way the handbrake off midfield did. Maybe it lacks balance, but it's still something I'd quite like to see. I think you can balance it out with other kind of positions and other players being brought into the team as well. Steve says, West Ham actually looked a lot better last night. Not that it was too difficult. Yeah, that's definitely fair enough. Baba says, when will you guys win something, bro? At least get to the Champions League final. When will you win something, bro? Great comment. Auden says, West Ham looked poor against Everton defensively. I would love to see a very attacking lineup. Chino says, Tom, the next 5 games will be key. Oh, yeah, without a doubt. Liverpool finally have actually got some tough fixtures coming their way. So, yeah, this next month could be the month that totally turns the whole title race on its head. Certainly. Mark says, I know Arteta is cagey about player fitness, but can you give us any intel on Kai Havertz's injury? Only that it's obviously it's a knee issue, which obviously he felt had to undergo surgery to fix, but we don't have any kind of intel regarding the mechanics of the injury or the specifics behind it. It wasn't, other than the fact it wasn't an ACL, which is obviously a positive thing, but it could be an MCL, it could be a cartilage issue, it could be a lot of things. Your knee is a very complicated part of the body. So it could be a lot of different things, to be fair. But I just hope that he's back. I remember he did an interview like a month ago where he might have mentioned like 3 to 4 months. So hopefully he's back before the end of the year, but there's no guarantees ever. We don't really have too much information. Carl says, heavy rotation against Olympiacos with White, Mosquera, Lewis Skelly, Norgard. Maybe, I mean, Nurgo. Maybe Marino in attack with Ødegaard and Saka getting minutes, yay or nay. I think Ødegaard, it's important that he probably starts this game to a degree because I think he needs to get some game time. after coming back from injury, coming off the bench in the last game. It's probably important he starts to build up that match fitness. So, yeah, I probably would start Ødegaard in this game. Can I just point out as well how really good he was against Newcastle when he came off the bench? Ødegaard effectively was the catalyst to Arsenal winning that game. Anyone disagree with that? The best substitute in that game was Ødegaard. Ødegaard was the most impactful player in us winning at Newcastle. Just going to put that on the record. Without a doubt, he was the most impactful player. His influence on the game, his pass to Lewis Skelly, his pass to Rice, his corner to Gabriel, those three actions, he was the most important player in that whole comeback for me. Beyond the goal scorers, beyond Declan Rice's cross, Ødegaard was the most important player in that because he was involved in every single one of the moments that led Arsenal to that victory. Merino scores the header. Gabriel scores the header. But none of those things happen without Ødegaard in all of them. He's the one who plays the pass to Miles Lewis Skelly, which forces the initial corner, which leads to the state of play that leads to the equaliser. He is just that good. And people forget it. People just overlook Martin Ødegaard. He's an easy target for people. And people should be ashamed of themselves in how they speak about Ødegaard because he is a wonderful, wonderful player. A wonderful player. Nick says, great analysis from Joe Hart on Match of the Day 2. Who's your favourite pundit nowadays? It's a good question. Who is my favourite pundit? I don't watch like a lot of punditry, to be honest, because Joe Hart has been very good recently. I will say that. And I agree with you. But the reason being is that punditry's kind of devolved into this rage-baity mess. There is, without a doubt, there's premeditated like attempts to enrage supporters of all clubs, but particularly Arsenal. It's just, it's such a shame the way the game has kind of gone. And, I heard the conversation that was Jim White and what's his name? I don't remember his name. Simon Jordan had kind of a really disparaging chat about fan media getting involved in journalism. Now, I'm obviously one of a few kind of, there aren't many, me and Harry, I think, are great examples, humbly, but in terms of like people that have gone from fan media into journalism and have kind of crossed that threshold of, but not crossing it and going away from it, doing fan media and at the same time journalism in the same breadth. It's a really difficult kind of line to tread, and it is definitely going to happen more often now because I think fan media is the best way for young people to get into the journalism space. It gets your foot in the door. It gets you opportunities. So the idea that you can just kind of pee in someone's cornflakes about being in fan media and that being kind of second fiddle to journalism or to the mainstream media is just, it's just disrespectful. Like, that's just what it is. It's just disrespectful. And these days, a lot of fan media is better than the analysis that you find on a lot of mainstream media channels. It just is. There's so many better voices, more grounded, without the attempts to unfortunately, people kind of put fan media into a bit of a box because of how it became so prevalent because, and with all due respect to AFTV and Robbie, that was kind of the catalyst for fan media. And without it, we wouldn't exist. And that deserves credit. But at the same point, because of some of the videos that we've seen on big channels, such as AFTV, for example, that are quite inflammatory and are quite reactive. And that, I think, has kind of, unfortunately for others who are short-sighted, painted everybody with a similar brush. So that if you're in fan media, then you get kind of painted with that brush no matter what, which is wrong. And to be fair to AFTV, they've put a lot of effort into changing their old reputation. People have been removed. People have left that aren't allowed to come back. Some, in my opinion, wrongly, but others, of course, rightly and rightfully, rather. And obviously, you've got people like James and Graham, that amongst others, if I start naming people get annoyed because I miss others out. But, there are people on there as well beyond just James and Graham who produce some really well thought out content. So, and I know for some people like D says AFTV's damage has been done. And I get for some people that they are done with it and they will never forget it and they'll never be able to get over some of the things that have been said or still continue to be said. But at the end of the day, I appreciate when an effort is taken to try and arrest a slide into, what's the word, inflammatory production. You know, I appreciate the effort that goes into trying to improve something. I'm not one for cancel culture. I'm not one for people being cancelled. Like, I remember when we had Shane on the channel the other week, and obviously I know a lot of you didn't agree with Shane coming on. A lot of you didn't like what was said, and a lot of you turned the show off. But I'm not going to not have conversations with people or with outlets or about topics that, you know, is just what people vehemently disagree with, because I think it's important that we talk about and talk with people that have very different viewpoints. It's really important to do that. John says Adrian Clark's channel is really good, and you're absolutely right. It is. I'm glad that Adrian started a channel, and I do need to link up with Adrian. I've intended to do that. It's really important that we do have these types of conversations and exposures to people. We don't disregard fan media or certain aspects or certain people or their opinions out of hand. Like, it's just never going to produce a good environment to have a conversation and to improve anything, you know. So, you know, that got a bit deep, didn't it? Oh, someone only asked me what my favorite pundit was. I went off on a blooming tangent about what was right and wrong in this world. Goodness gracious. And I don't like comments like this about Ty. Like, I don't know if you saw this. A picture of Ty went up. If you don't know who Ty is obviously one of the original Arsenal Fan TV people and goes to a lot of games. Now, he was pictured at one of the under 21s games the other day, and obviously his full gear. Ty, you may not agree with Ty. You may not agree with his comments. You may not agree with how he analyzes football. You may not agree with what he says. But being like disparaging or disrespectful to Ty when he is one of the most dedicated Arsenal fans out there, I just think he's wrong. Like, no matter what his views might be on the club or on how he portrays his views, I think you have to respect Ty's commitment to Arsenal, because it is in the like top 0. whatever percent of commitment of fans. There is no doubt about that. So yeah, I always think that Ty gets a bit of a bad rap, to be fair. I don't know everything he said. He might have said some terrible things I'm forgetting, but from my exposure to him, at least, I think he gets a bad rap. I don't think he deserves the scrutiny that he gets. And, you know, I know you get people at grounds, and unfortunately, some people trying to bully him at stadiums and stuff, and that's wrong, and obviously should be called out. And I hope that people do call out if they see it. And it has happened. I've seen videos of it. People filming people like at stadiums just to get a rise out of them as well. Like, I think we saw it with Judges as well, didn't we? At United. I think Judges, you know, I've watched games with Judges, and it's an experience. I'll tell you that. But that video that was kind of put out at Old Trafford completely misrepresented the situation that was going on. He wasn't being aggressive trying to start a fight. It was all tongue-in-cheek. It was all joking around like before the game. But people kind of cut it up and changed the context of it, and that wasn't fair. So football is fun. Like, it's passionate. It's about it, and people take things too far. And people misrepresent. And we, you know, we're all talking about like the officials and the referees and stuff. There's an edited image going around at the moment of the Jared Gillett VAR picture that you may or may not have seen, and people believe that that's real. And the misinformation that goes around at the moment is, you know, absolutely, it's rife. Like, misinformation is rife, and it gets to the point where people can just deny things and say, well, you know, if it's these days, you know, there's so much misinformation that this is misinformation. And that's the problem with misinformation, is that it not only misinforms people, but because it is so rife, it can be claimed that things that have been said or not said are indeed not real, when in fact they are. And that muddies the waters. So we can't even have a genuine conversation about football anymore, because there's so much misinformation that it makes it impossible to have those conversations. So yeah, it's a scary place. AI has only made that obviously worse. AI is a tool that is really helpful in a lot of different aspects, but it's also a scary thing. It's a very scary thing what people can do with AI. So I've been a victim of it, and I'm sure a lot of others have as well. So it is a scary thing, very scary indeed. M. Norris must be behind, who says, you totally gave that to the wrong person. Well, it was random. There's no doubt about that. It was definitely random. So... oh, dearie me. It is funny, though, isn't it? It is quite funny. Oh, you can't win them all. You can't win them all. That's what I would say. I'm just going to message the person now saying, hey, mate, you won somehow. So I need to get in touch about their details to send them out a shirt. Congratulations to Richard, who won our shirt. And I'll do my absolute best to try and get the shirts to them. They're going to live somewhere. I know I'm going to have to send this somewhere mad, aren't I? I have not any information about where they're from. I just know that Richard's going to live like the most expensive place ever to send something to. But I've done it now, so I've committed. I'll do my best to get it out there. Spearmint reckons I could even be messaging a bot. That'd be quite funny, wouldn't it? It turns out they're not even real. We'd have to do the whole thing again. Justin thinks that he's in Nigeria. Okay, well, I don't know I don't know how to send something from the UK to Nigeria. Send a parcel to Nigeria. Okay. 3 convenient ways to send parcels. You can book a collection. I can do it on DHL. I might do it on DHL. That might be easy, wouldn't it? I don't know how much it costs. I don't know if there's any customs kind of charges. There probably isn't there. Yeah. Nigeria is the largest oil and gas producer in Africa and holds the continent's biggest natural gas reserves. Oil plays a major role in the country's economy. DHL's just giving us some random facts about Nigeria. It's home to 220 million people and is Africa's most populous nation. It's also one of the world's most linguistically diverse countries with over 500 languages. Oh, we don't want to get into that. They'll tell me how to say Eza wrong. I don't want to get into that debate again, do we? Byron says, well, one thing is for certain, in the football content creators and journalism space, there's only one TGT, and Tom Canton, appreciate you, mate. Thank you, Byron. That's very kind of you. Kazang says, what's your FPL points? Oh, God, they're not very good. I need to do my wild card this week. I need to do it because it's not going very well. Although I did get 70 points this week, which was pretty good. So I captained Haaland, which got me a lot of points. I got Gabriel in my team, who got a lot of points. Livramento as well, got his clean sheet before he went off injured. And obviously we wish him all the best in his recovery. But I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players that blanked. And I still got 70 points, which is pretty crazy, to be fair. I'm nearly bottom of the Football London table. That's not good. The Gooner Talk Fantasy League. I'm 999th in the list. I'm 999th in our TGT table. That's hilarious. Congratulations to James McKiernan and Abu Jalma, who sit on 431 points on top of the TGT league. I am 999th in the table. I wonder who's bottom. I don't know how many people we've actually got in the TGT league these days, but I'm scrolling for quite a while. I'm still not at 999 at the moment. In 999th, that's so embarrassing. Of my own league. I'm joint 999th. Congratulations to Christopher Menter and Benizo Watkins, who also are with us on 999 points. Or rather, not points, but placement. We're still scrolling. We're at 1,400, 1,500. We're still going. There's a lot of you in our fantasy league. If you want the code for our fantasy league, I think I have it. It's HYZ. Oh my goodness, I can't talk. HYZO, as in the letter O, 9S. That is our code for the FPL league. If you would like to join, that is our code. So join our league if you like. There's more than 2,149 of you so far. And Veer Bega is bottom of the table with 61 points. I was kind of hoping we'd have someone on negative points, to be honest, but that's quite hard to achieve, isn't it? I know that Andrew from Arsenal, I think, does a reverse fantasy league, which is pretty cool. I like the idea that some of my friends do a fantasy league where, like, you pick your team at the start of the season and you're not allowed to change it until January when the transfer window actually opens, which I think is quite cool. I think that's a really cool idea for a fantasy league rule, is that you pick your team and you can change it until the transfer window closes on August 31st or September 1st. The transfer window opens January 1st, and you can make changes to your team throughout the month of January. And then when the January window closes, you can't then change your team again until the end of the season. I think that's a really cool rule. And I wish I played fantasy like that, but unfortunately, everyone I play against doesn't play it like that, and I can't not be at a disadvantage. In the Journo League, I'm currently 19th right now, which is not great out of 29 of us. Top of the league, Peter Rutzler's top. Where's Charles? Where's what? What's his third? What on earth? How is Watsy third? He's on 361 points. Do you want to know who's bottom of the league? He's going to hate me for saying this. Do you want to know who's bottom of the league? We often give him a bit of stick about this. Who do you think is bottom of the Journalism Fantasy League? He's one of the best journos, but when it comes to fantasy, it's fair to say that he needs to improve. I'll see if any of you can guess. It's not Harry. I don't know if Harry's in the league, actually. I'll have to remedy that. We need to get Harry. Well, it depends if he's beating me. I won't put him in the league if he's beating. I'm not in charge of the league, so I think Dino's in charge of it. Who's in charge of the fantasy league? Who's bottom of the fantasy league? Who do people think? None of you have said them yet. No one's got it right so far as to who they think's bottom of the Piers Morgan. He's in there. Oh yeah, he's definitely in our fantasy league. If you don't get it, I'm not going to tell you. You've got until... Right, so I've already gone for over an hour. Goodness me. I was going to say. No, still no one's got it. No, Collins is not bottom of our league. No, Dino is not bottom of the league either. Oh, someone's got it. I'm so sorry, Art. I'm so sorry, my friend, but you've been exposed. He'll improve. He'll get better. I'm sure he will improve. But Art DeRoche, which you've spelt incorrectly, so by the way, there's no E on the end of Art. But Art is currently bottom of our league. He's tried his best, but he's used his wild card already as well. I'm reliably informed. But his team at the moment is Pickford in goal, Cucurella, Gehi, Tarkovsky, Semenyo, Rice, Doku, Grealish, Eza, Joao Pedro, and Gyökeres. Doesn't have Haaland, doesn't have Salah, it didn't have Palmer. It's not good. Livramento was on the bench. Would have got him 6 points. Ikatike's on the bench. Reinildo's on the bench. He got obviously a red card, I thought, or injured or something. And Dennis in goal. Who's Dennis? Dennis for Bournemouth. Oh, he's got a one-choice goalkeeper. That's where you're going wrong, fella. You've got to have two goalkeepers that could potentially play each week. So I've got Kelleher and Verbruggen, my goalkeepers at the moment. I'm so sorry. I feel bad for now. I've exposed him. Make sure you definitely don't tweet Art and say, I hope you get better at fantasy. Definitely don't do that, please. Don't tweet him. Don't tweet him. Thank you for listening. Really appreciate your time. He's a lovely guy, Art. Don't do that to him. But thank you so much for listening, as always. Really appreciate your time. I'll be back with you tomorrow morning. As I say, I'm not at the press conference today because I've got a day off. I will be at the game tomorrow, though. So we will still have a roundup of the press conference in tomorrow morning's show. And talk about that. Congratulations to Richard, who won our prize. And I'll do my best to try and get the prize to him if he claims it. I'm going to say he has 1 week to claim the prize. So if he messages me back within a week, and I'll message him saying you have 1 week to reply. If not, I'll have to count to 117 again, won't I? And we'll see. We'll get someone else, clearly, because if I count to 117, we're not going to land on the same person, that's for sure. Thank you so much for listening. Really appreciate your time. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day. Enjoy yourselves. Stay safe. Stay well. Stay happy and respectful. And as always, up the Arsenal.